the first iteration of me beating the game in 2014 all the way to 2024, the total money I have made is a whopping. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. And one of the questions I've always been getting from the very beginning of my career is, what is it like to be in a video game and how much did you make? Well, I will tell you guys. The UFC has come out with multiple games, not just by EA, but by THQ. That was the first company that made the UFC game. Up until EA Sports took over the UFC, that's when I felt like the game actually started to move in strides and actually become a lot better in the game. So for me, being a gamer since I was a child, it was always one of my lifelong goals to be inside a video game. And it happened when I was with the UFC. Now I'm gonna walk you step by step of how do they get me in a video game. So obviously I have multiple copies of the UFC game. This one is UFC 3 Undisputed by THQ with Anderson Silva on front. And then here is UFC, I believe it is 3, the championship edition with me on the front cover. This is the Icon edition with your boy. It was pretty cool going to GameStop and seeing this bad boy on the shelf when the game came out. So it was a pretty proud moment of my career to be able to get on the shelf of GameStop. So the first thing that they do is, once EA and UFC came together and wanted to do a video game, first thing they do is they fly out the EA people out to Las Vegas. At one point in time, the UFC would do a thing called the UFC Fighter Summit. Now, the UFC Fighter Summit is where they bring all the athletes on the roster, put them in Vegas in the hotels, and they do kind of like a summit where that was the opportunity I got to see and talk to Kobe Bryant. During that thing, every single athlete got scanned. Back then, there was no Unreal Engine 2, 3, 4, 5, right? They scanned all their bodies. They wanted to get all of our tattoos. They scanned, not this one, my sleeve, but they took my forearm tattoo, my back tattoo. They did the same thing to Travis Brown. Anybody who has tattoos in the UFC game, they've scanned it, right? So they scan it. Now, do we do any motion capture? No, none of the athletes did any motion capture. They have their own specialized people who do motion capture. But to build our likeness and make sure they copy everything, like we have a scar or anything like that, they would scan us, and it's like a little half dome. You stay in there, it's all lit up everywhere. There's cameras all around you, and they basically just take thousands of pictures of your body to make sure they don't miss any space or a speck, anything. I remember one time, I think one gentleman, he had tattoos all over his body, and he was standing there butt-ass naked almost, covering his schlong. So that is the first step that they do, is they take all these pictures of the athlete. Honestly, I think the way they got me, my character design looks absolutely like me. Like the facial features look damn near identical. Like when I'm looking at my character right now, I feel like I'm looking in the mirror. I mean, they have the beard looking fresh. The tattoos, this is a tattoo. Now I have a full sleeve. It's a Polynesian tattoo. I would say my chest is a lot bigger. Now, this is my character in UFC 3. I mean, excuse me, UFC 4. And, you know, here I am about to fight Tyson Fury right now. And let's fast forward. There's Tyson Fury. And look at the size difference. But the movement of the game looks really, really, really good. Like, I will say EA has done the best job when it comes to the graphics and the movement of the character. I mean, and, you know, obviously you can't really do a lot more rhythm of the game, but look how massive he is. This is a cool thing about the game, is that you can make these little dream matchups where you wouldn't be able to do this in real life, because no commission would ever sign off on this, and it just would never happen. Now, let's take a look at my character in the latest integration of UFC 5. So I would say the difference in UFC 5 compared to UFC 4 is, one, just the graphics. I mean, you can see the sweats, the abs look exactly the same. I have all my tattoos. I don't have my newest tattoo because I haven't got scanned, and I don't know if they can add that unless I sign something. But they have that tattoo. They have my forearm tattoo. They have this tattoo right there, and also my back tattoo. And they also, you know, this is more of a trimmer beard. It's not a full beard. My beard is full. It's up here now. But I think the graphics look a lot better on UFC 5. You know, coming out, they got the walkout. It's pretty cool. That was probably one of my favorite things about fighting in UFC, is the walkout, because there's a chick that says 10, 9, 8, 7. And I just knew like everybody in the world was watching me get ready to compete. Herb Dean. I wonder if Herb Dean gets paid. And like I said, the game is the best game of simulation. Right here, you can even tell. Okay, yeah, they got Herb Dean looking at different ways. And the movement's pretty good in UFC 5 as well. There you go, boys. The second thing they do is you sign off an agreement of your likeness. Now, when you sign this likeness agreement, there is no money in it whatsoever. You know, even at this time, I don't, you know, I'm happy that I'm able to be in the video game. Now, the third step, one day I'm at home, I'm playing video games, and I get an email stating that, hey, since your likeness is being used a lot in the video game, we are sending you a check. Now, the very first check I got for being in the UFC video game was $25,000. Now, a lot of you guys are like, that was it? Guys, think about this. $25,000 to just be in a video game. I don't think Ryu has ever got a check for $25,000. Let that sink in, boys. $25,000 for not getting punched in the face. $25,000 for just being in a video game. What you people love using me as a character. So it was ecstatic. Now, how do they dictate how much money you're gonna get paid? I can't dictate it. You guys actually dictate how much I get paid by how often you guys use me in the game. Now, when you log onto your game, let's say you play on offline mode or you play online mode, each character you pick, it does a little ticker. It sends the data to the big mainframe computer, and that's how they keep track of it. They do it for Street Fighter 6, they do it for Escape from Tarkov, they do it for all the games out there because they want to track to see what character is being played the most and what game modes they like the most. So they're always tracking your data and keeping all the analytics and be able to put it together. So that's how it dictates how much money your boy gets. So I think that's fair. It's based on the popularity of the character in the game. So if everybody and their mom keeps playing me, then I will get a bigger check. Now let's fast forward. So the next one that came out was UFC 3. And for this bad boy, the next check that I ended up getting was $12,500. Now, it's a little bit lower, but I was okay with that because the time frame of the checks were coming every, you know, year or quarter. Wasn't too worried about it because once again, it's free money just coming to me. Now, after I did something, I think it was after my Ray Borg fight, they offered me the opportunity to be on the front cover. And that's when they came out with the Icon Edition. With me on the front, it says become the GOAT. So in order for me to be on the cover, I signed an agreement to be able to be on the front cover. And with me signing to be on the front cover, I got a whopping $10,000. $10,000 to be on the front cover, and it's pretty dope. The Icon Edition. I loved every bit of it. Let's fast forward. UFC 4 comes out. I leave the UFC. I'm not part of the company anymore, but my character is still in the game, and you guys are playing as my character. Now, the next check I get in the mail is another whopping $25,000 for being in the game. And it's absolutely amazing because to me, it's something where your likeness is being used. And I think it's cool that the UFC or EA keeps on paying the athletes for their likeness, and if people are using me, so the data is pretty awesome. Now, after all that, from the first iteration of me being in the game in 2014 all the way to 2024, the total money I have made is a whopping $72,000 and $500, a little change. I think it's absolutely amazing for me to only make that type of money without getting punched in the face, and you guys are out there using my character in the UFC game. I appreciate you. Now, I have not got a check yet for UFC 5, which I am in the game. A lot of you guys are asking, man, is Demetrious Johnson in the game? I am in the game. Now, obviously, when you guys use me as a character and my popularity is still, I guess, good, and you guys are using me, I will also receive another check from EA or Zuffa or whoever the hell is in charge of the UFC now for just being my likeness in the game. So I think it's pretty cool. You get scanned, they take your likeness, the integration of the game keeps on changing. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you like, subscribe. Also, hit the bell to know when we go live, and I hope you appreciate it, man. Cheer. Well, damn.